We're good. I'd like to call to order the February 7th meeting of Ben Harbor's Planning Commission. City Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Ferguson, Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Hensel,
Present.
Commissioner Marshall,
Here.
Commissioner McGee, City Manager Mitchell,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed, Commissioner Yarborough, Chairman Reed.
Present.
No quorum.
At this time, I would like to make a change to the agenda. Under old business, I would like to remove the monthly absence report to be the last item. That would be item C. Therefore, we would move the Chicago Craft report up to A and the update to B. Monthly absence of the numbers would be C. If there are no other changes, are there any changes? If not, would you call the roll for the approval of the agenda?
Manager Mitchell,
Yes.
Commissioner Hensel,
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes. At this time, we'd like approval of the minutes for the December 6th, 2022 minutes. Are there any changes, additions, or deletions? Hearing none, would you call the roll for the approval of the minutes of December the 6th?
Manager Mitchell,
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Hensel,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
There was no quorum, so we did not have a meeting on January the 3rd. So we'll move on to item number 5, public comments. Anybody in the public wishing to make any comments? We will close the public comment session at this time. At this time, we have no new business. So we'll move down to old business, and we will have the Cashaba Craft update.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, how are you today?
Good. Thanks for having me again. Not a ton of change. We're finishing the floors, still fielding electricians, but we're pretty close. We just need to get the electric wired in, and then the HVAC units just set and installed. They're already there, ready. So hopefully soon.
Okay. Would this be a good time to have our code enforcement officer to come by and take a look to see where you were at?
Probably he could reach out to Shane, the contractor, Greenspan Constructions. But yeah, I think so. I think all the structural code type stuff is done now.
No update as to the driveway
But
where the water shut off is?
no, nothing on there. He said he was reaching out to the I guess tradesperson or person from the city who had dealt with that, but I haven't heard anything back on that.
Okay, thank you. Did any of you all have any questions or anything concerning that update? Okay, thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Jeff from McKenna?
Yep.
Could you kindly give us an update,
Sure
please, on the
thing.
master plan?
Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Thanks for inviting me down. I'm going to sit if that's all right. Today I brought with me a memo of key zoning issues that we found. So we went over the ordinance, the master plan, and the code enforcement pieces, and found a few things that can be consolidated, a few things that kind of maybe could work differently, just to kind of maximize the different things you want to do in the city. Brought that with me today. That's a key piece of the future land use for the master plan, because we'll be, as we have been, we'll be talking more about, what belongs in this district and what doesn't belong in this district over here. So a big, that's a big key first step to getting that future land use kind of fleshed out. And then, so we just last week wrapped up a 50% community plan memo, and you guys should have received that, I believe, right? Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'll check with the city clerk.
Okay.
What's been submitted.
Okay, that's what we are calling our 50% draft plan. That outlines a lot of what the master plan is going to look like. Has things like the action items, the goals and objectives and things like that sort of listed out. It's a framework at this point, so it's not a complete document. That's why we call it the 50% draft. But it's a really good place for you guys to take a look and say, okay, you're heading the right direction. We can tweak this. We can adjust that. And so at this time, we have that document ready. And then we're going to be meeting the city manager on Friday to get some preliminary comments on that. And then we'll be scheduling a meeting with the advisory council to, and that will be the memo that I just gave you guys and this 50% draft, going to the advisory council to look at that. And when we get feedback from the advisory committee, we'll do some tweaks and put both of the documents on the website. So now anybody who's accessing that can now see the documents, but they're in a form that you guys have seen and sort of tweaked and approved. And so that's that step. At that point, we'll be looking at a 70% draft document. And that's basically going to be the plan. That's the first draft of the plan. And we will be bringing that to the city commission when believe, if I understand the process right, the planning commission is going to authorize it to go to city council, and then city council approves the 63-day open public review period.
So Mr. Lippens is gonna have a video conference this Friday.
Yep.
Okay, 1
Yep.
o'clock, and he will discuss where he's at with this.
Yeah. So I apologize. I don't know who received the 50% plan, but I know I'm assuming the city manager has that. Do we know? Anybody know that? Because yeah, I mean that would be prep for the meeting on Friday.
The
So
advisory committee will meet, gets he set a date or give us a tentative time for that yet?
no, I don't think we have a date for that yet. But that would be, is basically after this Friday's meeting, we'll be looking to schedule that meeting. Yep.
So after the advisory committee looks at it, then there's a possibility that they would be ready to fork whatever information or whatever they have concluded to this point.
Yep. And we would put that document with some comments on the website, and also the key issues memo as well.
The website, we get this after the advisory committee has seen it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep. Great question, but yeah. Yep.
And Mr. Lippens will be able to give us a more specific timeline when all of these events are going to occur.
Yeah. Yep. So then that next phase is going to be what we're calling the 70% draft. And that's going to be, the first draft of the document with all of the graphics and tables and charts and all the pretty stuff too. So That's the one. Again, I believe it goes through the Planning Commission and is supported and sent to City Council to authorize. And then that begins that 63-day public comment and review period.
What point are we gonna begin to take a look at the zoning ordinances and changes?
Well, so that the key issues memo is going to be the start of that. The document I brought down today. And I mean, Paul's going to have a better sense of meeting dates and timelines than I will. But yeah, I mean, that is going to be happening, intermingled with master plan as well.
Did you all have any questions or anything you all want to put forth?
I just like to know when we're gonna get to 50/50. I've been waiting a long time to even see anything, and I wanna know when it's gonna be in my hands, and it takes me a little while to digest whatever it is.
Sure. Yeah.
Commissioner Hensel?
I was wondering, is there any way we could get a commitment to get having a meeting in February? I think it's important. We've already lost a lot of momentum in terms of, participation. We haven't met with the advisory committee for months and months now. I'm sure a number of people are thinking we just have fallen off the face of the earth. So
Sure.
we do want to have enough time to get people, revved up and on board, paying attention. So it'd be great if we could get a date that everyone and the planning commission can start to push out to people.
Okay. All right. I'll check with Paul on that. And so, I mean, you're talking about for the master plan project, but we might even be able to, do a meeting with combining kind of both projects a little bit. But yeah, I'll get a date from Paul for that.
And we'd be interested in the timeline, so we can get a good feel for where we're actually at
Sure.
with all of this.
Sure. And we are, I mean, at this point, we're looking at having everything wrapped up by June. So, and that, again, the 63-day period, so you're losing 2 months right there, so yeah, we're hoping June is our timeline that we're shooting for right now. Wanted to just give a couple of other updates. We did the best Benton Harbor talent competition. And the idea was that the winners of that competition were going to then be ambassadors for arts and culture in the city. And we had 4 winners, and we had commitments from 3 of the winners to participate and be ambassadors. And we haven't heard a response from the 4th person. But that's, that was a big part of our public engagement was the talent competition. So that's showing some fruit. And then the workshops, got to meet a lot of you all at the workshops, but those were great. We had active participation from city leaders. I think the 3 of you were pretty much at every one. And others as well. So, but those were fantastic. And that all the information that we got out of those, it really kind of backed up what other people were saying in the community, which is, you want that. You're looking for new ideas, and then you're also looking for, people to sort of back up what other people are saying. It gives a richness to that. And we did hear a lot of really good things out of that. And that's going to be a big part of the master plan project. I mean, we did a synthesis of that, the workshops, and so yeah, good motion. I will check with Paul and see why, see where the 50% draft is. It's possible that that he
You
wanted.
said earlier that it was a memo.
That's Yeah, it's like a 147 page document. It's a big one. It's really outlining the whole master plan. But my guess is that maybe he wanted to hear from the city manager first on that before he sent it around. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure.
That just makes my question really hard, Chair. So I'm still need an answer as to when we can get that, we as a body need it. You have a hard copy, city manager?
No, I don't, but I can get you a copy. I don't have it. Yeah. I'll get you a copy. She has your email. Everybody else.
I also would like to have a copy.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I had a question about the cultural piece.
Mhm.
Who, you mentioned 4 ambassadors. Who are they working with as ambassadors, and what are you expecting them to do as ambassadors? Are they ambassadors to the advisory committee? Are they working with cultural institutions that already exist as ambassadors, and then how are they educated about the plan?
So I think it's still relatively new. We're just kind of getting buy-in from those individuals. But yeah, the idea was that they would kind of liaison between, maybe an arts council and city government, or the school system, getting kids involved in art and culture. And yeah, that they would sort of be pushers of that in the community. And so, yeah, it's still kind of, in the early stages of that. But I mean, I don't know, does the commission have ideas for how they might be better used in the community?
I haven't had an opportunity to talk to them about what it is that they want to do. That's why I wanted to talk with Paul to find out exactly where we stand with that, how they're to interact with the planning commission and the advisory board.
Okay. I'll get him to give you a little better sense of his vision for that as well.
Excuse me. Could we get their names as well and contact information so we can contact them directly? Find out firsthand what they want to do.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay.
Any more questions?
It's not to him. My question is to the clerk. Yes. Instead of sending me an email, I would prefer to have a hard copy.
Any other questions of Jeff before we move on? Okay, so we'll receive an invite for the Friday's meeting at 1 o'clock. Okay. If there are no other questions, then thank you for your update.
All right. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to move on to the monthly absence report. I spoke to Mr. Yarborough, and he indicated that due to medical issues, he was not able to attend the meetings. And he indicated that starting next month, he feels that he will be able to attend all the upcoming meetings. Then he asked me to excuse him for today. So today, Mr. Yarborough would once again be excused. I spoke with Mr. McGee, Commissioner. He indicates that he will be absent for another 3 months. However, they're all due to medical issues. So he asked that, or made it known that he is attending all of the training classes online. He watches a YouTube video of all of our proceedings, and he is very much interested in remaining on the planning commission. So as soon as he is able to return back to town, he indicates that he will begin to publicly show up at these meetings. I've reached out to Commissioner Ferguson. I have not been able to get an update as to where he stands. But the last time I talked to him, it was a work-related issue in which that it interferes with the meetings. And when he's able, he will attend the meetings. So at this point, I feel that I need to let the full commission make a decision on how we should deal with this. One gentleman, Mr. McGee, has legitimate issues, but he wants to remain. I would extend the same opportunity for Mr. Yarbrough, since he's saying that he has medical conditions. So the only other one left would be Mr. Ferguson. It's a work-related issue. So at this point, I would ask you all, what is your opinion? How should we proceed with this? You have a copy of the absence procedure bylaws that we are operating currently under. Based upon the bylaws, anybody who's absent more than 25% of all the meetings will be considered nonfeasance. Cause for removal. Now, the removal would be taking place by the city commission after a written charges, which we would submit, and that would be due to not meeting the attendance requirements, and a public hearing. Before we make any motions to proceed, if we are going to allow for a medical leave of absence, I would call it that, or should we follow our bylaws?
I think that medical issues are indeed situations that we have to deal with. If Mr. Yarbrough told you that he was having medical issues and that he would attend all the meetings, and today he tells you that his medical issues are persisting, I think that we need to look at whether he's going to be able to come back or not, as opposed to just taking him off the board right now. But as far as Mr. Ferguson, he knew he had a job when he got on this commission. And if that job is interfering with what he's doing on this commission, it seems to me that he need not be on this commission.
Any other commissioner wish to speak? Commissioner,
I just have to go to the purpose and the need of the planning commission. And for us to have any meeting without a quorum just causes me distress. So I'm hearing the reasons why we don't come to meetings, and I say we because I'm in that bunch too. So I just think that we went through a lot of effort to put those ways to deal with absentees. And I just think that we should stand by it. If Mr. Yarbrough says he can come from next month on, that's fine. But the bottom line is that we need intelligent and professional people sitting in this place that's gonna do their diligence to do what we're asked to do. So I just think that if an absent member causes us to have no action out of this committee, then we have to do something else. We just have to take care of the body. And I feel for them to have medical issues, but I can guarantee you if we start a little training and make sure that all our members get trained, we can get some other people in here to do the work. Because this is a straight and narrow job. Just know what you gotta do and do. But I just can't see us being, take care of the body. That's all I gotta say.
Any comments, Commissioner?
I tend to agree with Commissioner Henry. I think, that maybe the possibility of asking people to resign for the moment, still include them in the ways they want to be included as observers. If we get people who are able to serve, and have the, capacity to show up on time every time and participate, we do know that people come and go on boards, so there is the option of someone like Mr. McGee joining us again at another time, and I certainly would be in favor of him continuing to receive the training and, to observe and to, connect up with us as he's able. But I agree with Commissioner Henry that if we're not taking care of the commission as a whole to make sure that we're present, that we can conduct the business of the city, we're probably not doing our job.
City Manager Mitchell, did you have any comments?
No comments.
No comments. So the question before us now is, should we notify them of the bylaws and ask them to respond before the next meeting? Or do y'all want to move forward and remove all three of them?
I would move forward, but not so much as removing all three of them. The two of them have put forward a legitimate excuse. My work won't allow me to be here. That's not a legitimate excuse for me. So for that individual, I would certainly recommend that we move him.
I would like to make a motion that we send this copy of the planning commission bylaws to each of the members and give them the option of volunteering to resign. That would save them and put them in a much better position if they wanted to come back or reapply at a different time, or if they wanted to serve on some other board in which they were capable of meeting the requirements. So the motion would be to notify all of them of the options of resignation as opposed to us taking the action to have them removed.
Support.
Support. And the document I'm referring to would be page 2 of the Planning Commission bylaws as amended through October 30th of 2018.
Just send a cover letter to it with it.
Yes, I can write a cover letter to go with that.
The timeline.
before the next meeting of March the
27th.
7th. The purpose of doing so is to hear from them directly in writing as to what they want to do. Okay,
The other question, if there is no response by the then what we do, we just move.
move forward for non-feasance. Okay, if there's no more discussion, would you call the roll for the motion? Notify.
Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Hensel,
Yes,
Manager Mitchell,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
That concludes all of the official business that we have. Do we have any commissioners who want to make comments before we adjourn? No comments? Make a motion that we adjourn.
Board.
Supported by Commissioner Marshall.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Hensel,
yes.
Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Manager Mitchell,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We are adjourned. Sorry,